Hey guys, this is Anastasia. This is part 2 of my Yule tag. So part 2, we're going to pick up on question 9, favorite Yule story. For me, that would be the Oak and the Holly King. And granted, it is not a specific Yule story, because the Oak and the Holly King is also told during the summer solstice. And there's a couple of different tellings of this. The Oak and the Holly King are seen in various ways. We have the Holly King, which is kind of the darker aspect, and we have the Oak King, which is kind of the lighter aspect. So we have the Holly King kind of representing cold and dark death. And then we have the Oak King, which is light and life and fertility and virility and all that jazz. For me, the way I first learned it and read it, the Holly King and the Oak King do battle twice a year, once at Yule and once at midsummer, on the solstices. So on the longest night of the year, which is the winter solstice, they will fight, and they will fight again on the longest day of the year, which is the summer solstice. The way I heard it when I first learned of it, and this still resonates for me, so this is how I personally honor and adhere to the story. The Oak and Holly King do battle on Yule, or the winter solstice, and the Holly King loses to the Oak King. And then in midsummer, or summer solstice, when they fight again, the Oak King loses to the Holly. And the reason that resonates for me personally, not to say it has to resonate with anyone else, because I know some people observe it differently. They see the Oak King gaining power during the summer solstice, and then the Holly King taking over with winter solstice. For me, it made sense that at winter solstice, the Oak King would win because the sun is reborn. Life is kind of given back to us. It takes a while for him to charge up, but he's there. So that's why I see the Oak King, kind of the lighter aspect, gaining power at winter solstice and defeating the Holly King. Even though the Holly King is at the point of his zenith, his zenith of power, like he is at his top form, he still loses. And I kind of like that too, because I think it helps us stay in check. No matter how good we are doing, no matter how awesome we are, no matter how powerful or great or blah, 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 whatever adjective you want to use, however that you are, there's always chance for error. There's always chance you could slip up. There's always a chance of failure. And so we never want to get too ahead of ourselves. We never want to say we're all awesome and powerful and fully believe it, because while a little bit of confidence is good, too much can be our downfall. And that's kind of how I view the Oak and Holly King. When they are at their zenith of power, they might get a little too cocky. And, the Holly King at winter solstice is like, yeah, I got this. It's my time of year, buddy. Boom. Oak King takes him out. And he's beginning to build his power as the sun gains its power. And then when he's at, the height of his power and awesomeness at midsummer, during the longest day of the year, at the end of that, he loses his battle. And the Holly King, the nights start to kind of get longer. Things start to kind of shift a bit. And he takes over. So that is my favorite story for Yule. It helps remind me of the energy that is going to be restored. And I've always loved it. Ever since I learned it, I loved it. And the Oak and Holly King, even down to some tellings they're brothers, some tellings they're two very separate deities. For me, I resonate with them being the same deity, but just different aspects. And one aspect, the darkness wins out, and another aspect, light wins. I don't know. Something to look at and find out what resonates for you. One clothing item you love to wear during the season. I love scarves. They make me so happy. And oddly enough, I don't know where my scarves are right now. But yeah, that would definitely be my one. I also love boots with like high socks, like up over my boots. My witchy sister actually just gave me a really nice pair of boots too, and I just adore them with, leggings underneath and a skirt. It's the whole ensemble. The whole ensemble. I love, like the sweater with the skirt, and then the leggings or tights, and then the higher socks, or the knee-high socks, kind of scrunched a little with the boots, maybe a scarf, and I got a pea coat. It makes me happy. So yeah. Favorite activity during the season. Favorite activity during the season. Shopping. I love shopping. And not just for myself. I genuinely enjoy shopping for other people. I love finding what they would like. I love finding that perfect gift that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is perfect for so-and-so. And then the whole ritual of taking it home and wrapping it, as I already went into. Just the whole thing. I love finding that perfect thing for someone and then gifting it to them. I love gift giving. It's my thing. I also love looking at Christmas lights. I love lights. There's a place in Duluth called Bentleyville, and it's this huge, huge display. Like this whole park is just done up in this massive amount of Christmas lights, and it's beautiful. I love it. Then, what crystals or gems do you work with during the season? Citrine is a big one. Again, the sun is going to be reborn. And I also really like emerald for the season. Emerald is very much about love. It is about successful love. It is about luck. And for me, really ties me, I know I've said this before, it ties me to Mother. It ties me to Goddess in her mother form. And I know Yule is the time of year, or is the Sabbath, where she gives birth to the sun and dies doing so. But for me, it's about sacrifice. She sacrifices herself for her children, for nature. And that is something any mother would do. I would give my life in an instant if it meant my daughter could live and be happy and have sustenance. And so the emerald ties me to that sense of maternal duty. And so the citrine, I honor the god being reborn, and the emerald, I honor the goddess and her sacrifice. Favorite Yule memory. The best, again, it kind of goes back to Christmas lights. I absolutely love, my father and I don't have a lot of good memories. We don't, just saying it as it is. But one thing he did really well was every year for Christmas, back when I was a kid, the newspaper would put out this whole section of all the houses in the cities, what city they were in, what the address was, of all the amazing light displays that people would put out. And he would get that section of the newspaper, and he would stop and get us both hot cocos, sometimes donuts, and we would drive around town, usually listening to Prince and Queen and David Bowie, not the traditional holiday music, but our music that we loved listening to, Cat Stevens, 10cc, Morris Day and the Time. We would listen to our music and look at the lights and drink hot cocoa and just talk. And it would go on and on and on. I mean, we would go city to city to city. And it was just wonderful. And they don't do that anymore, and I really wish they did, because that would be a tradition I'd love to keep up with my daughter. But those are definitely my best memories of Christmas, I think. I've got a couple other ones that are very personal to me, and I don't want to share those quite yet. But that one I feel good sharing. Favorite Yule ornament? Oh, man. I don't know, to be honest. Like I said, I had so many ornaments, and I've kind of lost them. One that just broke last year was a nesting doll ornament that I actually bought myself from Pier 1 Imports when I worked there. My grandmother is Russian, and she loves her nesting dolls. So that was my favorite ornament because it reminded me of her. But yeah, that broke last year. So I need to find a new nesting doll ornament because my tree needs one. Favorite Yule gift you have received? Man, there's so many. I got a cauldron last year and I loved it. It was my first cauldron. I got a beautiful necklace from my witchy sister that was an onyx in a dragon clasp to keep hell close to me. I've gotten some amazingly thoughtful gifts. This year, my friend Brandon gave me a black mirror that he made for me. And oddly enough, Kernunos instantly, as soon as I had it, he immediately was like, yep, that's our communication. I'm like, really? Hell deals more with divination, or maybe this is just for me personally. It's like, no, Kernunos claimed it, so that's the thing. But yeah, there's so many of them, but anything that kind of speaks to my spiritual soul, I just adore it. Last year, I also got a beautiful wooden box with crow on it and 3 pentacles. And I use it for my tarot cards. I love it so much. So yeah, those are my favorites. And I'm about to hit 13 minutes. I'm going to try to get through these last ones real quick so we don't have 3 videos. Best Yule treat. Hot cocoa, peppermint schnapps with whipped cream on top. Love it. It's my favorite thing. Very close second would be Baker's Square candy cane pie. Oh my god. So good. Favorite Yule color? Red. Without a question. Green is starting to get up there with me because I'm starting to relate more and more with the goddess, especially with this year trying to be quiet and really listen to my matron. But it's red. It's the color of fire. It's the color of energy. It is the color of warmth and passion and determination and courage, and I just revel in it. I also really like gold. So, one way you pamper yourself during the season, frou-frou coffees, peppermint mochas, hot chocolates with liquor in them, holiday drinks. That's my thing. I absolutely love it. A god or goddess that you work with during the season. Hell is definitely her 2 sacred Sabbats are Halloween and Yule. It's her time of rebirth. It's when souls begin. It's when life kind of starts to begin anew. We go through the purification, we go through the cleansing, and we honor that rebirth. Plans for Yule. I know my sister in arms and we have a circle planned on the 23rd. And we're going to do a dinner and feast after that. Otherwise, doing the fire ritual with the wish going out, and that's kind of all I have planned right now. So yeah, I'm quickly approaching 15 minutes. I will leave it there. Blessed be. Thanks again for including me. Bye.